Well, look at here, mama, let me tell you this. Start acting crazy, I'm gonna give you my fist. Might read from Revelation back to Genesis to realize your Southern can belong to me. Ain't no need you bringing no jive to me, cause your Southern can is mine. Might go uptown, get me thrown in jail. A hot shot got money, come make my bail. As soon as I get out and I hit the ground, your Southern can worth $1.50 a pound. Ain't no need you bringing no jive to me, cause your Southern can is mine. I get it real hard, hit you with a brick right out of my backyard. You never go that barbed wire fence, and every time I hit you say ain't got no sense. There ain't no need to bring no jive to me, cause your Southern can is mine. Hear me talking, Southern can belong to me. Now whip it one time for me. Ain't no need to bring no jive to me, cause your Southern can is mine. To hear me talking, Southern can belong to me. Yeah. You know, I was inspired when I saw a thing on via satellite in the 80s. I was in the year of 85, 86. I saw a thing called Guitar Greats. It featured a lot of really great artists, such as David Gilmour, Link Cray, who wrote Rumble, Lita Ford, David Gilmour, Brian Setzer, a plethora of really talented, solid players. But the person who stole the whole show was Johnny Winter from Port Arthur, Texas. And I saw the video of him playing in a three-piece. My fault, baby, treat me the way you want to do. And I was like, dude, I got on my knees in front of the TV, and I said, this is what I want to do with the rest of my life. I want to do this. There's no reason to pick whether I want to be Robert Plant or Jimmy Page or Jimi Hendrix or Paul Rogers. I can be both at the same time. It unleashed me as far as with the possibilities of what I thought I could do with music, especially based around blues with that hard edge that guys like me, white boys, typically wouldn't have found out about old style blues if it hadn't been for these guys. Johnny Winter's the only guy you would count for an American guy at that time that was really invested in solid blues and would go seek out people like B.B. King, you know. B.B. King, we saw him in the audience one night, and he said, oh, my God, the tax man's here to visit me. he is awful white. I think he wants my money. I'm sorry. No, you know, but I'm making a joke out of a terrible situation. But if it hadn't been for Cream, Jimi Hendrix, Eric Clapton, Jeff Beck, those guys, we would have never found out about Sonny Boy Williamson, too, Rice Miller. We'd have never found out about Otis Rush. We'd have never found out about Arthur Big Boy Crudup. We'd have never known any of that. We would have known that that was the original guy that did the Elvis tune, but we would have known the artist. And a lot of the blues community doesn't want to accept that because they see it's, you know, it's a non-factor, and it's plastic because of the fact that white people introduce it. It's not about color. It's about the love of the music. And it doesn't depend on the color of the audience. It depends on the heart of the audience. And this is what segregation in America caused to happen. And it's funny how the whitest white people would have to teach us, the white folks back home, about music that was going on right across the railroad track, but we were too fucking racist to go check them out. Sad that there isn't more James Brown video, more Joe Tex video, more Otis Rush video. It's robbing us of part of our culture because of the ignorance of the past. And I want to be the guy who says, this is valid, this counts, and let's have a resurgence of it. You know, I'm not Stevie Ray Vaughan. I never claimed to be Stevie Ray Vaughan, but I do find him as an influence because, you know, he loves Albert King. I love Albert King, you know. He loves Jimi Hendrix. I love Jimi Hendrix. He loves Johnny Winter. I love Johnny Winter. He loves, you know, so on and so forth.
But how does Allen Holdsworth fit in your repertoire?
Allen Holdsworth is a brutal guitar player that could probably make water into wine. He's forgotten more licks than I'll ever know in 3 lifetimes.
You incorporate the blues stuff into that.
Well, the blues, you know, blues, jazz, rock and roll, they all come from the rural American black, from the South. Jazz was created in New Orleans, and jazz grew into something altogether different it really is an urban music, but comes from the Deep South. New Orleans is both. It's country and it's urban. And this brings a big thing to the table. Rock and roll, Rocket 88, Sun Records. Who played guitar? Ike Turner. Ike Turner's one of the forgotten people in rock. The guy who introduced the Fender electric bass to Chicago. The man who made Tina Turner into a star. He get written off as a guy who whipped her a couple times. You know, there's two sides to every story, and it's not a good quality for a man to be beating on a woman by any means. But in one action, he ruins all the credibility that he's ever known. If you listen to Buddy Guy's chess recordings, he's playing guitar on half of that crap. A little too heavy on the whammy bar for my taste, but still you can't discredit the guy who helps invent rock and roll as we know it. And ignorance can be bliss in most cases, but in my case, the madness of knowing, it prevails over that. So, there you go.
Thank you, Jamie.
If I send for my baby and she don't come, if I send for my baby, man, and she don't come, all the doctors in Westminster sure can't help her none. And if she gets unruly, things she don't want to do, said she acts unruly and she thinks she don't want to do. Take my 32-20 and I'll cut her half in two. I got to shoot my pistol, got to shoot my Gatling gun. Gonna shoot my pistol, got to shoot my Gatling gun. Well, you made me love you, now your man have come. Ow, baby, where you stayed last night? Ow, baby, where you stayed last night? Got your hair all messed up, but you ain't talking right. She packed a 38 special, but I believe it's much too light. She carried 38 special, but I believe it's much too light. Got my 32-20, got to make them caps up right. Oh, baby, where you stayed last night? Oh, baby, where you stayed last night? Got your dress all messed up, but you ain't talking right. If I send for my baby, man, and she don't come, said send for my baby, man, and she don't come. All them doctors in Hot Springs, they sure can't help her none. Oh, believe I'm gonna take my rest. Oh, believe I'm gonna take my rest. Got my 32-20 laying up and down my chest.
Robert Johnson. Robert Johnson,
Your name is.
buried in an unmarked grave. Robert Johnson, seller of gold and platinum records, rumored to have sold to the devil for superstardom. Well, when you make the deal with the Lord of the Flies, it doesn't always turn out in the guise you think it will. And so, yes, he did become a star after he was buried in an unmarked grave for decades. He became a star. We had 2 photographs of the man. Once again, proof in point. He's from the area of Mississippi that was the poorest in America for eons until they put casinos there, up around Tunica. And I played up music up in there, and buddies with George Klein. They all loved us because we were from Lafayette, and they knew we had a lot of mud on the back of our necks. But Robert Johnson is one of those guys that when you talk about Mississippi players, they always leave him out. I don't know why. Robert Johnson's a peculiar man of music. Was born, his mother had syphilis, was born with eye problems from birth, had health problems all of his life. Was a man slight in stature, not a handsome person to look on. Wasn't in the least bit talented, tried to play guitar, and everybody said, dude, don't ever let him play again. Robert Johnson. And then a couple of years later, he comes back playing like 2 guitars at once, like 2 guitar players at one time. The rest of them were blown away by it. But I heard that if you went and saw his gig, you'd just as well hear, you'd probably more hear a Bing Crosby tune than you would a Robert Johnson song. Just like me, we go and play for people, and they want to hear a lot of different things, and we'll play whatever they want to We get our jollies in there, but we play with them.
Bing Crosby is before.
But, you know, Robert Johnson, me and the devil walking side by side, gonna beat my woman till I'm satisfied. Come on
You
in my
know-
kitchen, you know.
You know shrimp blues? You know,
Dead shrimp.
Had tomatoes in the beer.
Oh, yeah, of course. Everybody knows that. Wait. Key.
Hot tomato?